Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this.
All right, so we're back with our coronavirus series.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We got a special guest. We brought my brother in today. Are you ready for this?
Greetings, everyone.
Ofoon Maja.
Yes, I am.
My name is, first off, this is the Mother's House Podcast. My name is Corey.
I'm Deshaun.
I am. Hola, ifamo Ofoon Maja from Jopi Martin Delaney Bell.
All of that.
All of that.
Right.
You can just call me
Ofoon Maja.
Yeah, Ofoon Maja.
Right. So, the coronavirus is, very current. And we just wanted to ask a couple of questions just to get another perspective on things. I know a lot of people are looking at this like it's a change of eras of some sort, or a change of seasons, or a paradigm change, or a shift, and all that good stuff. How do you see the coronavirus? Besides the whole sickness thing, besides what we all see, I guess, what's your metaphysic eye telling you?
Well, what's happening here is the coronavirus is that it's a disruptor. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and nobody that I've known have seen anything just like this before in their life. I'm talking elders and all. But when I say it's a disruptor, what it's doing, it's coming in and it's changing things. It is a paradigm shifter, and some of the changes that are coming about, whether it's mentally, whether it's financially, whether it's spiritually, whether it's socially, these are things that I thought would happen eventually. But when I say eventually, I'm talking 30 years from now, 30, and that's like at the latest. This is something that over in a week's period has.
Right, everything was so sudden. Yeah.
Like a snap, and everything done shifted. And within that, when it all happened, within a week, when people saw that you couldn't go to work, you couldn't go outside, social distancing, you got to stay home, and people really, that's when reality started hitting a lot of people. Like, man, this thing here is serious,
right.
And my job, a lot of people started to realize how much their jobs was such a big part of their life.
Yeah.
Or some people could even say they were bigger slaves than what they really knew. Because what I'm finding out is that a lot of people they got all this time on their hands and they don't know what to do.
They lost.
They're lost. If nobody's telling them what to do, or if nobody has already created a structure for them, which is what a job is, they don't know what to do with all this free time. If I remember, one of the biggest complaints we used to always talk about when things was quote unquote normal was that we didn't have time to do anything.
Right.
Now we got a lot of time.
Too much time.
Yeah.
So we here with it's my cousin, Deshaun's brother, Ofoon Maja, and just give us a little bit more background about your studies and what you came up with, and what gives you this train of thought on this narrative about the coronavirus.
All right. Well, like I said, my name is Ofoon Maja.
You can give it the full name.
Ofoon Maja. Some people know me as Martin Bell, but either or is okay with me. But and like Corey said, Corey's my cousin and Deshaun's my little brother. And I am in the food and beverage industry, the hotel industry. So my current job situation is pretty much done in so many words.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I have this particular perspective on it is that for me, I've been planning for these type of situations, not so much a pandemic, but more of a
change.
A change. And I thought the change was just going to be me changing jobs. I didn't realize it would be a global pandemic. But at the same time, also, I knew, and we've always talked about it, when you hear things like This is the Aquarian age. We're going into 2020. 2020 means you're going to see things clearly, this, that, and the other. For about the past, really since about 2012, there's been a shift going on. There's been a paradigm shift. People have been becoming quote unquote woke. More information has been coming out. Because of the internet, the super information highway, information is just all over for the internet. It's all type of things, all type of theories.
Right, like CMOS is like a thing now.
Yes, CMOS is a thing, right?
CMOS and black
crazy.
seed, or people who I never thought would be talking about CMOS and black seed.
On one extent, that's a good thing. It's a good thing that the information is out there and that people are doing things like doing more information and research on their health, and they're doing the things and they're following some of the quote unquote gurus of people or people who've been up on this information for longer.
Right.
But the flip side to that is that you're getting a lot of misinformation.
A lot of BS.
A lot of people going out random stuff and selling. You know, they got the flim man out there selling you stuff that just like a placebo, pretty much, on things that you think is going to help benefit you.
And I think a lot of people are selling personality too, and charisma.
Yeah.
Versus real information. They just know how to get followers, and they just know how to get
and that's the dangerous
get
part.
attention. Yeah,
because people are not separating personality from information from stone cold facts.
Right.
And if you don't have a certain knowledge level, if you don't have a certain understanding about biology, if you don't, and I'm talking base level, I'm talking almost sixth grader type information, that a sixth grade, somebody taking a biology class that may be in middle school, these are the type of things that you know, whether it's biology, physics, mathematics, but it's chemistry.
But basic knowledge.
Basic knowledge.
Right.
So right now, if you had the basics knowledge of chemistry and biology, the information that's out, you can disseminate it yourself. You can filter it and see what's some good information and what's not, and you can use your own intuition and your own critical skill set to kind of decipher what's the best thing for you to do, for you and your family to do. But critical skills is not something that's pushed, or critical thinking is not something that's pushed in our schools, and that's a whole nother topic. But staying on the coronavirus topic, but what the coronavirus is causing, though, this disruption, this making you stay home, making you look in the mirror, making you face your families. The only thing you'll be with is the people who are closest to you. So it's bringing out all your faults. It's like, 2020 gonna give you clear vision, right? And so it's like a high definition television. In a high definition, when HD first came out, if you got a big screen TV, sometimes you see some people and you be like, man, I see every crater in their face. I see the little fur growing on their face. You see a lot of things you see all the flaws. And then with people who don't look, that you'll also be like, man, I didn't know she was that pretty. Or,
right.
I didn't, because you see everything, but the coronavirus is facing us to see all the flaws, to see all the ugliness, to see our prettiness too, and to make us question, especially when you're talking about, especially socially and economically, because the restaurant business and hotel business, people and anything that requires people going into crowds, whether it's concerts, any kind of events, that's done changed. And the coronavirus is not going nowhere. It's a virus. So it's going to be like the flu. Every year it comes around, it's going to be, and somebody sneeze or cough, they're going to be like, it's a chance you can do that. Now you got another whole part of this is that they're coming up with a vaccination. And this is the part of the whole coronavirus thing to me that we need to be careful of, is that because everybody's, for whatever reason, seems to be so concerned, because it's a global pandemic, but it's been sicknesses and diseases and viruses that may have been worse than this, and it wasn't quite a pandemic. The media causes it to be a pandemic.
So you think they're sensationalizing it a little bit?
Yes, they are. They are. They are on one end, but then the whole coronavirus thing itself, you got the mundane level of things happening. And on the mundane level, that's okay, it's a virus going around. People could be sick. It could have got started in a lab. Maybe it didn't get started in a lab. Maybe it's a conspiracy behind this. Maybe they pushing this. Maybe it's the pharmaceutical company. They hurting the people like sheep. People going crazy. That's the real base level of it. That's the mundane level. But then there's another level. There's a higher level to all of this that's way beyond any of the people who may be responsible for this down here. It's a level of causing people to shift, causing people to sit down. A lot of the things that people were complaining about, whether it's traffic, whether it's not having enough time to do this or do that, a lot of us have that now. A lot of us are seeing that we didn't really know what we want. A lot of us thought that we want, if I could have all this time, I could do this. Now you got it and don't know what to do. Right. But this, to me, is one of the greatest opportunities in a long time. Because it slowed down the global economy, but... Did the world stop? The world didn't stop. And if you think about it, the money didn't... Because it's still people working, and it's still jobs. As a matter of fact, in some jobs just even busier, the money just shifted. The money shifted, say for the restaurant business, instead of going to sit down and eat at the restaurant, now the takeout places is going crazy. Right. And it was shifting in these directions already, just that the coronavirus sped everything up.
You look at Uber Eats, Postmates, Postmates,
DoorDash. All those people, they can't. They don't have enough people. And the grocery stores are packed. And the grocery stores and
now you got people driving to the grocery store, picking up people grocery store and getting them delivered.
And we were shifting. The economy was shifting like that already. Right. Like I said, this sped things up. But it also is questioning. It causes you to question your values and your value system by causing you to stay at home. Because home is where the value system is. That's where you determine where your values and all are. So we've been faced to say to ourselves, well, what are our values? And how do we determine that?
Even facing stuff as simple as, what should I do at this time? Like, what is the most important thing?
I should build a car.
Right, exactly. Like, what makes sense? You know what I'm saying? I know I can't.
I can start coding. I have 3 months, 4 months, however long this is going to do. Let me learn coding. Let me learn animation. Let me learn.
But you can't do everything.
You can just figure out and find your lane.
You can't hit everything on your bucket list in these next couple of months.
I think that's why this stage of the virus, because the virus, the coronavirus, this is probably like the third week going into the month, a whole month of it. Now that we all kind of see how things kind of change, and we kind of sit down, now it's time to be strategic. And discipline is the key word. Yeah. And what I mean by being strategic is you got to allot time in your day to do things. First, you got to have a goal of what you're going to do. You got to have a goal, and that's how you slim it down. Because just like y'all was saying, you can do a whole bunch of stuff,
right? Yeah. But really, you can't.
You can't. You can't.
But you think you can, right?
But you can't. So now is the time more than ever for you to stay in your lane or
find your lane.
Find your lane. Mm-hmm. And really by now, for certain people, you should kind of know your lane right now.
Right.
But even if you don't, now's the time to find it and stay in it and work it.
And that's important too, taking time out to reflect on, your past of what you want to do.
And that's what I was saying. I give it about another 2 weeks, but we've had almost a month to reflect.
Right.
We had the first 2 weeks to kind of be shocked, like, oh. And then now it's time to really go into reflection. And once you go into reflection, especially for those who already had an idea of what they wanted to do, or already had an idea of the things that they wanted to do, if they had the time to do it, now that you have it, you have to literally block off time. Mm-hmm. Just like when you was working, you had to be to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. To be to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, you got to wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. To wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, you had to go to bed by 10, 11 o'clock. So, and then once I wake up, I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to iron my clothes, I'm going to get ready, I'm going to be at work by 6 o'clock. You have to have that same type of structure when you think about things that you have to do. If you write a book, or if you write a book or something, you got to say, I'm going to wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock and start writing a book. And you have to do the things just like you was working a job, that if you got to work at 6:05, you could get rolled up. Or if you was an hour late for work every day, you have to be your own boss. You got to discipline yourself enough, just like if you work on a job. It's the exact same way. And that's how you can win in all of this.
Let me ask you this: do you think everybody should? I think everybody should have that same kind of mentality. Just for the discipline, keeping your home clean. Doing things that you're supposed to do every day. But at the same time, do you think everybody needed? Because that's more of an entrepreneurial mindset. You know what I'm saying? Get up and go get it. Get up and go get it. You think everyone should have that same kind of mindset, or certain aspects from the entrepreneurial mindset people should take from?
Well, I would say it may not. When you say entrepreneur, you're talking about somebody that have their own business. Mm. And I don't think it's meant so much as what we call in entrepreneurship now is so much having your own business. I think sometimes everybody can't do that. Mm. And if that's not what you do, that's nothing to be. You don't. That's what finding your lane is about.
Right.
Everybody lane is not being a quote unquote boss or entrepreneur. But I think everybody should at least have the mindset of a what do you call it? Of a somebody that's not working, that's
a creative?
Not a creative, somebody that's an independent contractor.
Yeah.
I think everybody should switch from being a worker to an independent contractor, meaning that an independent contractor, he has more leverage and he has more to say in how much he gets paid and when he's going to work. You see, and not so much as
like the gig economy, like the Lyft drivers.
You have more control over your time.
Even if you work in a 9 to 5, you should still see yourself as an independent contractor, meaning that you can go work for something. You can go work for someone else if this job is not doing you right, or you can go find something else. And we're in that. That's one of the good things about this thing that's happening now is that we're sort of in times like that where the economy came to a halt, but the economy is not stopping. Mm-hmm. And the people still is moving and shaking and doing the things that they need to do to move the economy. They're just not doing they're just doing it with a little more social distancing. And as the money has shifted, say if it was, just throw a number out there, say if it was $1 zillion going around in the world, it's not like that. It's less money out. It's still $1 zillion out there. It's just shifted to other places. And so really,
because money is energy, so it's always going to be
exactly. Money's energy. What they say the new money is now. Attention is the new
currency. New currency.
So when you understand little things like that, and the way you can use technology, you can really take advantage of this time, because like me and Deshaun said, because Deshaun's in the restaurant business too, we looking at this as like a big vacation.
I know, right?
Because we're able to get compensated enough where it's not a desperation yet.
Right, because in our industry, you have to, like, when you're planning to go out of town, that week before you go out of town, you're working like twice as much.
Exactly.
Like you picking up 2 and 3 shifts at a time. Yeah.
Then inside the money.
Right. Then when you come back, you picking up more shifts too.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you guys this: for people who's not in that same kind of situation where they lost their job, they ain't getting no money, can't afford their job, don't give them unemployment.
I think all jobs are giving unemployment.
I believe so too. But just in case that's the situation somebody going through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What should that person or that female?
Let's be clear that everybody's going to have. It's about to get tight financially.
Yeah, very.
For people like myself, I'm speaking of me, myself personally. Things going to be tight financially, but at the same time, you got to have a mindset that things going to be okay, and then you got to really, really take on that mindset that time is the most valuable thing. We hear that it's become a cliche. No, that's a real principle. But what makes it valuable is what you do during that time. This could be the biggest opportunity ever, or the biggest. If you can come out when all this is quote unquote back to normal again,
and not have to go back to work.
Exactly. Right. I'm done with it. Yeah. That was it. This is something that's for something. Someone like me. You would often hear me and you would hear people say this. They're getting off. We got to get off the plantation.
Yeah.
We got to get off the plantation.
Right.
Now that we're off the plantation right now.
Mm-hmm.
But some people is like, man, I kind of miss the plantation.
I like to order. I like to know when I get a check.
Yeah, I don't either. So you just.
I don't miss work at all.
And also this is a part of us that's always been in us. It wasn't. It's really new the way that things were. The old paradigm of going to work, always did it. That's kind of new. Before that, maybe about 50, 60 years before that, it was like you found something. You found a way to feed your family,
especially the black community.
Yes, and you figured it out. It wasn't
that was before the business
big
licenses.
Thing. You figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
You just tapped into innately what was in you when you was you have kids 4, 5 years old figuring out that. If I sell this, I can set up a lemonade stand. I'm, just using that as an example. But selling candy, it's all kind of. These are the type of situations that we're actually built for. But I will say this on the coronavirus too, and this probably gonna be the last thing I really say on is that the leeway to be lackadaisical about your health is lessening, and because. This is the time of the airborne disease.
And that's the shift too.
Yes, that's part of the shift. So you're going to be taking care of your health, whether you got health insurance, and this was already being set up with this, with how crazy health insurance is, this and that and other. People are going to have to be more sovereign or independent minded in everything. Whether it's finances, whether it's socialized, whether it's with your family, and whether with your own personal health. You're not going to be able to just eat whatever
what you want to eat,
not exercise, sit around. And then this whole thing about the part of the virus that's sanitary, that was another thing the virus showed. It showed us a mirror. It showed us just
y'all nasty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly on a larger scale. People are a little kind of, and I'm not one of those people to be like, I'm not like a germaphobe, and I don't think everything, but some things is just kind of nasty. Like not washing your hands when you come out the bathroom. Come on, people. I mean, come on. Or sneezing and going to touch somebody afterwards.
Right. Not washing your hands.
Not washing your hands after you sneeze. Just because you sneeze in your little elbow, that don't mean you still don't need to be washing your hands.
I always said, when this first happened, I said, this is the universe looking down and seeing how nasty everybody is.
That is a very good example.
Y'all nasty, y'all eat bad, y'all ain't taking care of yourself.
So it's below.
Right.
So,
quick question. So we dealing with a cultural war, right? How do you think this paradigm, this coronavirus, shift the culture?
On the how it shift the culture.
It's shifting the culture because it's still going.
It's shifting the culture, and what is again, everything has good and bad. It's shifting. The good thing is doing is kind of, and these signs were happening right before all this went down. Is that we are coming a little closer together. Black people, and not only black people, but as as they say, the world's becoming more of a neighborhood, a world's becoming more, what's the word? A village. It's becoming more of a global village. Well, villages are very tribal. Mm-hmm. And the world's becoming more tribal. So for black people, that can be good. That can be good because we've always been tribal. So, quote unquote, whether it's a neighborhood, whether it's a region, whether it's a region within a region, whether it's a nation, whether it's a state, whether it's a tribe, whether it's an ethnic group. We've always been that's kind of, we're in our element under those type of conditions, and it's bringing us back to that, and it's giving us an opportunity to this, like another thing, another way I hear described is a reset button. Because everything's being reset, so it's like, okay, you can start all over. We can
create your own culture.
We can we can take more control of our culture. That's the good side of it. The flip side, the side that can potentially be bad is that so many of us don't know what our culture is. So we're attaching on to things that we think are our culture. We're attaching on to other people's culture. We're attaching on to a stereotype that was projected onto us as being a part of our culture, that it could be some confusion as things start to as things go back to quote unquote normal. Right. It's going to be interesting how this ends up, but people just need to take advantage of the period to take more of this period to take first of all to reflect, and once you reflect and kind of see what it is you need to do and see what your purpose is, go full force at it. And you will be whatever that you figure that out is. You will be so much better if you take advantage of this time.
Right.
If you take advantage of this time, you will be like a Superman or a Superwoman. But if not, you're gonna be 10 times as worse than you was before.
Yeah. I like with the virus how it's changing how people touch. It's like when I saw Aunt Brenda today, I gave her a fist, not a fist bump, but an elbow bump.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
because people doing and think about it. What is it? Black Panther, Wakanda salute. They don't touch each other.
Yeah,
everybody pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
This is interesting. How it's, I was in the grocery store. If I'm in the grocery store or in any store. Instead of like walking by each other, people are kind of cut down aisles. They avoid walking by. If you can avoid walking by somebody, you do it.
In line, people are
that's
like
interesting, especially.
People.
I was kind of like that already, but it's kind of funny now to see people.
Everybody doing that.
I get a little chuckle out of seeing people. If it's more than 3 people get together, everybody be looking like, all right. Okay,
right.
Give me some room.
Exactly.
So this is an introvert dream.
I know this. I'm really enjoying this period.
Yeah. I'm just
What'd you say? An introvert's dream?
Yeah, introvert's dream. Do y'all think this is statistics? Just throw this out here. In Japan, they clearing up the quarantine, stopping quarantine.
Japan or China?
China. But they having a higher. Because they're out of the quarantine, they're having higher divorce rates. So you think that's going to transcend over here? You know what I'm saying? Because people being so confined in a space with somebody that they barely see every day, like you said, they work 24/7. They working with strangers. They live at home with a stranger. At the end of the day,
again, coronavirus is bringing out the best and the worst of everyone. So
it's just bringing out the real everyone.
It's bringing out the real. If your relationship was shaky from the beginning, If you put if your relationship's shaky and you got to be with a person that's you in a shaky relationship for 24 hours, it's gonna break.
Because y'all gonna talk about what y'all was avoiding.
Exactly. But if your relationship is strong, then it's gonna become that much stronger. That's what this thing. That's the beauty. And no disrespect to any of the people who may have passed away, any people that may have gotten sick from the coronavirus. Absolutely not, But that is the beauty of what's happening now. It's making you go look in the mirror, making you not just, and then it's not you. Usually when you when you have a situation where you got to go look at yourself in the mirror and face it, that's usually something you do by yourself. But this is everybody got to look in the mirror and not look in the mirror as an individual or as one, but in relation to a larger group. Because you're looking in the mirror to figure out how you're going to navigate within this group because you're not by yourself. I don't care how much you lock up, isolate, do that. You still need to help other people. You can't do nothing by yourself. Right. So you got this pandemic, something that's in the air, something that you can't see. You don't know what it is, so everybody can get it. Matter of fact, in some cases, the more well off you are, the higher chance you have of getting it because that means you've been traveling. Yeah, more. It's a good chance you've been traveling more. Mm-hmm. So it's whatever it's doing it, and it's shaking up and changing everything, and it can be taken advantage of, and also it could you can come out losing with this. And the way you come out losing it if you fall into the fear part of the virus. Yeah. Because of the fear is a virus itself. Yes, if you fall into that part, that'll break your immune system down. That can cause stress can break your immune system down and cause you to get the virus. And this is just my own personal belief. And not come in contact with anybody that got it. You will start listening to them symptoms. It's a term for that. But they keep telling you the symptoms all the time. and you keep hearing them, and then all of a sudden you be like, you know what? I am having chest problems here. I don't feel like I can breathe. Right. And you hyperventilate because you done heard too much on the, bad
You're going
news.
crazy.
So
you need to go outside.
I heard a nurse talking about how you can avoid. You was speaking about certain what is it, a plant that you eat that clear up the congestion in your chest.
Yeah, it's herbal remedies. It's herbal remedies to the system, to the symptoms. I'm sorry, and it's herbal remedy prevention. Herbals, homeopathic living, herbs, all those things are meant to. All those things, first and foremost, are part of a lifestyle, and they're meant for preventative measures. That's when they work best. So you'll be taking the herbs in the herbs that you're taking now in April will help you in July.
Yeah, for the things
that you taking, and you would have been taking herbs in October, November to help you with what's going on in January. December, January.
So more of a long term.
So it's long term. It's preventative.
It's a lifestyle.
Now, people who are really, really, really nice with the herbs that are like herbalist specialists, sort of like what Dr. Sabi was, they may know of formulas that you can take that real intense over some time, but real high dosage of real intense different herbs. Those are herbal specialists. Those are people who are they have the training and knowledge of a quote unquote doctor. So there are those type of herbal remedies, but you would have to go through a medical herbal professional that really knew about that to really if you already caught any type of thing, whether it was the coronavirus, whether it was diabetes or something, and be on a program to help do that. But the average person that you see giving advice on YouTube is not a herbalist. They're just like us, who done read Google or Wikipedia and then kind of put some stuff together. Right? And they saw a video and they just kind of put some stuff together. And they're summarizing it and they're telling you it like it's fact, like they know that this will work for everybody, which in itself, is a lie because everybody's individual, and that's supposed to be one of the differences between homeopathic and herbal remedies as opposed to Western medicine, is that it's really individual based. They don't just give a blanket. It's holistic, and it's that individual within context of
how they eat, where they live.
So all that's incorporated in that. So don't get sick and then because you don't want to go to the doctor, start trying to
become a herbalist.
Yeah, don't do that.
You're not familiar nothing about.
Just go to the doctor.
Just go to the doctor.
Right. That's what's up.
One last thing. Another thing stems from the social thing. Communication, dating wise. Hey, you think it's gonna have a shift in that? In the conversations, all those different things.
That's hard to say.
I think for now.
Of course now, but I'm talking about in the long term of things.
Well,
because like how I predict, this COVID-19 ain't going away. You dig what I'm saying? So we're going to have to find new ways to interact with each other because people still need to have that social connection, social interaction. But due to the fear, you know what I'm saying, that I can get sick or this person get me sick.
But I personally think that you're going to find out who's really important in your life when it comes to friends and relationships and what's really worth, your time, because your time is so valuable.
Yeah.
Health-wise as well as,
So kissing the person, you are really meant, it might be have more meaning.
Right, you can't really.
It won't be as random.
It won't be as random. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
So I think you're just going to take a little bit more precaution.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, like you said, COVID-19 is not going anywhere, but hormones ain't going anywhere either.
Yeah. Right.
And what's about to happen, this is just my prediction, people about to get cabin fever. People already have cabin fever.
They already got it.
And I think it's going to be a bunch of babies born in about 9 months from now. You're going to have like a surge in babies that came.
A new corona babies. New baby boomers.
You're going to have a surge of corona babies. But yeah, it's just like you said, when it comes relationship-wise, I think people may may be a little more selective, maybe not as promiscuous, and I use that word meaning just
liberated.
As liberated as you was before.
Not that anything's wrong with that,
but just
from my
just because the fact that it's, in other words, you're going to be more efficient. You're not going to, it ain't going to be a whole bunch of PDA, I don't think. And it just, but that's one of those things that
where you gotta wait and see.
Yeah, you gotta wait and see. That's just me talking, because it could have the exact opposite. It's when it comes. That's one of those intangibles that's really hard to call sometimes.
Right, because you're dealing with people.
Human relationships. You never know which direction they're going in. But I do think it's going to be more babies in about 9 months from now. We're going to have a lot of babies.
A lot of babies born in December. All of them ain't going to be Cora and Corina and Corona. CoronaVirus.
Right.
CoronaVirus.
Yeah, right.
That's ugly.
I'm pretty joking about it.
But thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Make sure y'all subscribe. Tell us what y'all think about the COVID-19 era and what it means, and not just about sickness, but paradigm shifts and behavior changes and stuff like that.
And let us know what activities and goals y'all trying to do. Just take a list and drop them down, and let's have a conversation in the comment section. Thank y'all for listening. Y'all be easy, be safe, and try to double.
Peace out.
I will not raise my daughter differently than my mother raised me. The rearing I got from my mother, words cannot express. I could live in any time, I could live in any country, I could live on any planet, and I would be fine.
What was the key? What did your mother know? What truth was coming through your mother that's going to come through you to your daughter?
My mother gave us aphorisms to learn as children. And there are two that stand out foremost in my mind. One is, the inner reality creates the outer form. I learned this when I was in grade school. I was very young. And the other is, the universe bears no ill to me. I bear no ill to it.